Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Grizz, and welcome to another book haul here on the channel. I know you guys are saying, what are you talking about, another book haul? You've never done one of these? You're right. I used to do manga haul videos on this channel back in the day. I used to collect tons of manga. It really used to be the only thing I ever read. However, since then, since my last video, which I think was June last year or the year before, I've kind of branched out into reading comics and actual books. So I've expanded this to at least include comics because I don't really read that many actual books. But I do occasionally pick some up, so I will throw those in at the end. So how this is going to go is I'm going to start with manga because that's what I used to have was manga, so I want to stay true to the old school viewers of this, and then move to comics and then books because, I don't know, that just makes sense to me because I feel like the least amount of people will be interested in regular books because I don't really have that many to begin with. But hopefully there will be timestamps so you can skip to whatever section you're interested in. However, I do suggest you watch the whole thing because maybe you'll find something new that you like. Because back in the day, I used to think superheroes were lame and I didn't want to read regular comic books, but that's changed. So maybe you guys will see some of this stuff and think, hey, that's kind of interesting. So I suggest you watch the whole thing, but it doesn't matter to me if you skip around or whatever you want to do. That's totally cool. But if you guys do go on to enjoy this book haul, make sure you go ahead, shield bash that like button down below. I greatly appreciate the support. So without further ado, let's start with the manga. Like I said, staying true to it. Now, I'm going to say right now, I don't collect that much manga anymore. I don't read that much manga. There's not really anything that's super interesting me anymore since my favorite series ended, which we'll get into. However, I was looking at some stuff the other day, like, what was it called? Delicious Dungeon or something like that. It looked pretty interesting. So there is some things kind of on the horizon, but right now I'm really into like just Western comic books. So that's where most of my money is getting dumped right now. But eventually, I know there's some stuff in the future that I'm going to be looking to get into the manga, back into manga for, but it's down the pipeline quite a bit. Anyways, the first one thing I got was actually from December. So for Christmas, I got these from my girlfriend. Now I'm gonna say, yes, I said January 2018 to June 20. Did I say that? These are my pickups for January 2018 to June 2018. I've tried to do the intro a few times, so I forgot some stuff. But anyways, this actually isn't from then because I'm just kind of speculating. I don't remember when I got everything. So I just kind of decided, hey, if I start with January, at least that makes sense because I can just, in my brain, it made sense. So some of this stuff is going to be before then, but it doesn't really matter too much either way. Got these for Christmas from my girlfriend. It is Attack on Titan number 3, which doesn't really need to be talked about too much because Attack on Titan's a really old series. As you guys will see, if you recall, I pick up stuff that's been out for a really long time because, one, I'm fairly new to both manga and comics, especially comics. So my collection is pretty much like a newbie collection, so I'm starting like from the beginning of everything. So that's number 3, number 4, and number 5 of Attack on Titan. Haven't read any of these. I can't recommend them or not recommend them because I've only read the first volume. I haven't even read the second one, which I've had for a while now. However, the anime is awesome, so I'm assuming that the books are just as good, if not better. That's typically how it goes, but the anime is super dope. So if you haven't seen the anime Attack on Titan, definitely go check that out. Next up, we've got my favorite series and most people's least favorite series ever, Fairy Tail. Now, all the dislikes are flowing in right as I say those words, which is totally fine. If you guys want to dislike just because I like something you don't like, that's fine. But, hey, I might not like your favorite thing. I don't need to I'm not going to dislike your video. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. But this is my favorite series. I just really, it's tons of fun for me. And I like the lighthearted adventure of it. I've really liked this cover. This cover is sick. I think my favorite out of all of them. But I finally have finished off this series of Fairy Tail. So here's volume 60. It's so sad that it's over. 61. Oh, I should show the sides as well because got a little bit of art there. That's something I really like about these as opposed to Western trade comic books. They got like these, they just look cooler. They just look cooler. 60 spine. 62. That cover's not, I don't really care for that cover that much. It's all right. And the final volume, 63. We got everybody on there. Man, I'm going to miss this series. I already missed this series. It was so much fun. I don't know if the anime's caught up. I haven't watched it since before the Tartarus arc, so I don't know if it's any good still, or if it's, you know, what it's on yet or at. If it's over, I don't know, but I really enjoyed Fairy Tail. I'm gonna miss it a lot. I highly recommend Fairy Tail if if you're okay with lighthearted, like, you know, kind of like, it's kind of cheesy. You know, it's got a lot of cheesy moments, like the power of friendship and stuff like that. That's everybody's biggest complaint. But I don't know. There's something about it that's just tender, and it just makes me emotional occasionally. So I really enjoy Fairy Tail, and I'm gonna miss it tons. And I'm already rereading it. I'm at number 5 right now. So yeah, that's how much I like it. I restarted rereading it the second I finished it. So anyways, I also picked this up, which came out the same day as the final volume of Fairy Tail. This is a day planner, which is really cool. I like the picture of Lucy on the side. Lucy's the best, the bomb. And inside, I haven't actually used it because I'm too afraid to use it because it's so cool looking. It's got little sticker arts as well as some actual other art, if I could find one. Skipping over them, which is pretty cool. So I don't know if I'm going to write in this. I do need to use a day planner. I feel like it would help me out so much, but I don't want to ruin it. So I want to pick up another one. It's $15. So it's like, man, my Barnes & Noble has 2 more of these left, and I want to get one so bad. But at the same time, I can't spend the $15 to get something that I already have. Anyways, let's move on. All right, so moving on to my final thing of manga that I picked up between those months. Was actually in January for my birthday. So again, from my girlfriend, which she's gotten me all these great books. Vinland Saga. So I've been wanting this for a while because it's Vikings, and I absolutely love Vikings. You guys know that. Vikings are my thing. And so I thought, hey, Vinland Saga looks dope. I want Vinland Saga. So I've got volume 1 here. Now, Thorfinn is pretty cool. He's, at least in these first 2 volumes, I've read online that people end up not liking him so much later in the series. However, so far he's pretty cool. He's kind of like a kid who, I don't think he's orphaned. I think his mom still might be alive, but his father is killed, and he joins the crew, the I guess raiding party or whatever of the people who killed his father, so that someday he can get revenge on him. Or something along those lines. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it so far. I've actually only on volume 2. I think I'm about halfway through this one. But so far I'm really enjoying it. Volume 2 right there. These collect like 3 volumes in each one or something like that. So this is my favorite cover. This is the purple with that sky, it just blends so well in that picture of Thorfinn is ridiculously cool. So very nice book right here. I really, I need to jump on reading this so I can get to this one, because this just looks like, if this is a moment in this book, it just looks awesome. I just want to read that. So that's something that I'm going to be reading hopefully very soon. And I got one more book for right here. But that's it for my manga. So I know not a lot of manga. There's about 12 things here, I want to say. But hopefully in the future, this will be expanding. Hiro Mashima's brand new series, Eden Zero, is supposed to have its first chapter released tomorrow, I believe, on Crunchyroll. So if I'm not mistaken on that, maybe I'll actually do a video on it. I'm going to have to start a Crunchyroll free trial because I'm going to be honest, I don't read that much online. I really like owning stuff. However, I at least want to check out Eden Zero, and it's going to be so hard not to read it online because I know I'm going to have to wait like a year before it gets translated. And like all the chapters for the first volume are out and gets translated and brought over here and all that nonsense. I know it's going to be a while, so I may have to cave and read something online for once, at least to see if I like it. It looks pretty cool. Obviously, it does take a lot of... his characters look the same, but it's a certain art style, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'm blabbering on too much about that, but I'm excited for it, so hopefully if you guys are excited about it too, check out that video. Hopefully I'll make one to come out tomorrow or on the 27th or 28th. But anyways, yeah, let's move on to the actual comics. Next up is where I think most of the stuff in this video is going to be. I probably have around 30 things to show you guys in comics. So yeah, let's dip right into it. This is my newfound love right now, is Western comics. Like I said, I used to not really be that into superheroes. I'd say the extent of my superhero knowledge was kind of like the Spider-Man movies, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, I think his name is, which I actually really like the Andrew Garfield ones. I know people don't like those, but those are my favorite ones. I don't like the new one. But anyways, and the Teen Titans when I was a kid. That was about it, I would say. I knew of other superheroes. I just didn't really care about them. Especially the Flash, which is something we're going to get into, because I thought, you know what, that's a stupid power. Who wants to run fast? That's a stupid power. But you'll see in a little bit that that's changed a lot. So anyways, I'm going to start with the two comics that I first ever got and didn't read for like 2 years. For 2 years, I feel like these sat on my shelf. The Teen Titans, the New 52. So reason I picked these up, the volume 3, it's not, volume 4 of Teen Titans. Now, I got Teen Titans for 2 reasons. One, Teen Titans I really did like when I was a kid. I liked the cartoon a lot. And I got volume 4, Light and Dark, because it was when Raven was first introduced. And I really like Raven as a character. And the thing that I ended up liking a lot about Western comics is the art. I mean, you know, manga looks great and all, but just the colors of this kind of thing, super cool. Like that, you know, that's pretty cool. I like the art. I like the art a lot. But the reason I got this was because I wanted to, like, Arrow was coming out, the Flash TV show was coming out back when I got these. And I was thinking, you know, it'd be kind of cool to kind of write like a Raven TV show. Unfortunately, now they're coming out with Titans, the TV show, which looks really bad, by the way. At least so far, from the previews I saw, it did not look great. But we'll see when the final product comes out whether that's true or not. But at the time, I was thinking it'd be really cool to write like a Raven story. So I want to learn more about Raven. So I got Teen Titans number 4 because this is where she's introduced, I believe, in the Teen Titans series. I could be wrong, but at the time, that's why I bought that, because I thought it was. And then volume 5, which finishes off, I believe, the New 52 storyline of the Teen Titans. It's got Red Robin. This is Red Robin, which I didn't know who the hell Red Robin was. I was like, where's Robin? It's like, where is Robin? But yeah, it's got Red Robin, which was interesting. I didn't really know that was a thing until now. So there we go. That's that. And along with that, I also picked up the Phantom Stranger at the same time as those two, because I heard that Raven was also in this. So that was another reason I got this. I actually still haven't read this, to be honest with you. I should probably read this sometime. I just never got around to it. So that is the Phantom Stranger. By the way, do I suggest the Teen Titans New 52? Kind of not. It was good, but it's not as good as some of the other stuff that I have in this pile. I give it a 3 out of 5. I'll say that. But it was still good. I still liked it. It was, you know, it was enough to get me. After reading this, so in March, I went to Myrtle Beach, and I brought these with me as just something to read while I was there, because I was like, man, this has been sitting on the shelf for a really long time. Read those, fell in love with comics, and instantly went out and bought more. While I was there, I picked up, actually, I bought these in Vegas. And I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry, guys. But I picked these up in Vegas. This is part 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is the promise. So this is the promise that Zuko makes to Aang, I believe, to be a good ruler. I don't remember, man. It's been a while, but I think that's what it is. They're kind of fearing that Zuko is going to turn into his father for a while during the series. So this is part 1. And part 2, Avatar: Last Airbender, my absolute favorite one of my absolute favorite cartoon series, I'd say. Probably my absolute favorite cartoon is Avatar: Last Airbender. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. But that's it for Avatar. Next up, I'm going to go in order, I think, of like when I picked things up. So after I read the New 52 Teen Titans, I went out and I bought Rebirth Teen Titans, because I was like, man, that was pretty good. I'm gonna jump in to the Rebirth Teen Titans. This cover, I was like, man, this is actually pretty cool. This is actual Robin. Like, this is not Red Robin, this is Robin. And I saw, You know, we got freaking Garfield over here, the Beast Boy, which Beast Boy is like my favorite from the original cartoon. He's hilarious. We had Raven. I was like, oh yes, you know I love Raven. She's on the team. We got Starfire back, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Starfire, because this is the team. You know, this is pretty much the original team from the cartoon series, except we have Kid Flash instead of Cyborg, and I was kind of upset because I like Cyborg too. The Teen Titans is a great freaking cartoon. Not Go. I've never seen Go, so I can't vouch for it, but this is solid. This is where, like, when I read this, I was like, yes, okay, comic books are where it's at. I really do recommend Teen Titans Rebirth. Damian right here, Damian, he's dope. So essentially, he's like, Damian is Robin. If you guys didn't know, I'm sure you guys know, but his mom is part of the League of Assassins, so he was raised. His grandfather actually is the head of the League of Assassins. Is that what they call him? The head? I think something like that. I don't remember, but it's super cool. So pretty much Robin collects the Teen Titans, and is like, hey, there's people coming to attack us. We need to work together and form a team to stop them. And this is just kind of their adventures to do that. But it's really, really good. I loved this. So, loving that, I went ahead and picked up Volume 2 of Teen Titans with Aqualad. And I didn't know anything about Aqualad going into this. I typically don't like people who have ocean powers. I don't like Aquaman. I don't like the ocean. So I think I'm biased. I just said I was at Myrtle Beach, but I don't like it. I don't like beaches. I don't like oceans. I don't like open water. It freaks me out. So I feel like that translates into characters. So I didn't really like Aqualad that much, but he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be. This was definitely good. Not as good as the first volume, but it was still good. And I would definitely pick up the third one when it comes out. I don't think it comes out until December. But I really like Teen Titans. So after Teen Titans, I was like, man, I need to get some more Damian. I need to get some more Damian Wayne up in here because he's the man. I know a lot of people like other, I think it's Tim Drake they like as Robin, but man, I haven't read that one, but Damian is awesome. I love Damian. So when I found out that there was another series that starred Damian Wayne, I picked it up. This is Super Sons. That's the wrong one. I keep showing you guys the wrong one. Volume 1, When I Grow Up. Super Sons is actually easily my favorite comic book series right now. This, I was like, how can I get any better than Teen Titans? This I absolutely love, and I did not expect to because I've never been a Superman fan. I always thought, hey, you know, Superman's kind of just super broken. Where's the interest in a character who could never, like, lose? But obviously that was just me being ignorant because I had never read Superman before. I'd never seen a Superman movie. I just kind of knew his powers relatively, and I was like, he's kind of unstoppable. He's kind of overpowered, kind of boring. But after reading Super Sons, I can say that's changed, and you'll see when I show you my single issues how that has changed. But Super Sons is my all-time favorite so far, and unfortunately, I think it's come to an end, which really sucks. I think there's talks that it might come back in a different form or something like that, but I really hope it's like the same exact thing. I don't want it to come back in a different form. I want it to be Super Sons because Super Sons is super awesome. It's better than Teen Titans. The art, I think, is slightly better than Teen Titans. This is a recommend. If I could only recommend you one book, it would be Super Sons. Go pick up Super Sons right now if I had to choose. That's Super Sons Volume 1. And this is Super Sons Volume 2. If you guys want me to like actually do like a full-on review of any of these, just let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely do that. This was really cool because he gets to go. John here, who is Superman's son, gets to go on an adventure with the Teen Titans, and you can kind of see Damian. He's, you know, the thing about Damian, he's kind of a jerk. He's a prodigy and he knows it, kind of thing, and that's what I really like about him. Anyways, Damian keeps telling him, like, you're too young. You can't be a Teen Titan. You're not a teen yet, because Damian's older. He's like 13 or something, and John's like 10 or something along those lines, 11, 12. So he's like, you can't be part of the Teen Titans, but by the end, you know, he ends up not joining the team, but joining them on a adventure, I'll say. And it's actually really fun. I liked it a lot. So I'm looking forward to picking up Sons of Tomorrow, which is another Super Sons book. And then Volume 3 when it comes out also, I believe, in December. All right. So next up, I've got Flashpoint, which I picked this up from Second and Charles, used for like $5. It was so worth it. Flashpoint, I've heard, is one of the best stories, and it is. Actually cried at the end. I don't want to spoil, but something with Batman happens at the end, and it's just super emotional. So Flashpoint, Jeff Johns. Here's the art. The art's pretty darn solid in this too. So I'm really excited. I was not expecting the art to be good because I don't really know that much about comics, and I read the Flash 52 before this, which was the wrong order to do things because Flashpoint is what starts the new 52, apparently. So I kind of read it backwards, but I was excited when the art was super sick in this because the new 52's art is not that great. So Flashpoint, I highly recommend this, especially if you want to start from somewhere on like DC. If you want to start with DC somewhere, new 52, I guess is sort of where they kind of planned people to start if they were getting into it. So reading Flashpoint and then the new 52 from there, I guess sort of makes sense. So there's Flashpoint. I recommend that as well. Definitely a top tier story for me out of the ones I've read so far. Next up, the Flash 52, which was cool, but it was nothing special. Now, as I said earlier, I was never really like a huge Flash fan until the TV show. I used to think the Flash just had super speed, and I was like, that's kind of boring. Like, I can run fast, whoop-de-doo. But after watching the TV show, I was like, oh my God, the Flash is like the coolest superhero ever. He can go through time. He can throw lightning. He can make like tornadoes. It's just like insane the amount of things he can actually do with his power. And plus the time travel thing. I love time travel. Fringe was one of my favorite TV shows and kind of dipped into that fringe science. Flash has a lot of fringy science kind of stuff, which I think is cool too. And the Flash is just an awesome character. So he's got some really cool villains. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet in my reading. I've just heard about them. Like Godspeed seems super cool. The Reverse Flash is cool, which I have read some of in the Flashpoint series or book that I just showed. But I would still recommend this, but it's not top tier. I haven't gotten Volume 2 yet. I do look to get it. Hopefully Volume 2 will bring me kind of like, yes, okay, I'm going to get, I really like Flash comics, but as of right now, it's like, it's all right. Nothing special, but nothing bad either. It's like, it's another 3 out of 5, I guess. And I'm sorry that I'm rambling, guys. That's just what I do. So hopefully you guys are okay with it. And I'm not sure if I showed these off before, but I'm going to show them anyways, just in case, because I don't think I did. We got The Walking Dead, Days Gone By. This is Volume 1. And it's kind of slow. It's kind of a slow start. It's, after reading, superhero comics, it's kind of like a more chill-paced thing, not so much action, which is totally fine. The art's pretty cool. That's nice. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna get more of it. I want to get the omnibus versions, which are just like a ton of issues in one. So I'm holding off on buying more of this until I can afford one of those, because then I can just binge it. But I also have Volume 2. I got these years ago, so I've probably shown these off at some point. I do recommend The Walking Dead if you're looking for something not so like superhero-y, But there's The Walking Dead. Just want to get that out of the way, just in case I never said it before. Now, you're probably thinking, where is the Marvel? I have some Marvel single issues that I will show you guys, and one trade Marvel comic. And it's because I was at Books A Million, and I was looking through like a clearance section where like everything was like $5. So I picked up Star Wars Dr. Aphra. Aphra. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But I was like, oh, that looks cool. Star Wars. I think I had heard some talk about this at some point somewhere. So I decided to pick it up. I haven't finished it. I skip around a lot. I've only read like the first, I think like 2 issues that are in here. or chapters or whatever you would call them. I don't know what they're called, guys. I'm new to this. So if you guys have any recommendations, by the way, for some comics, please leave them down below, or manga. But I mean, hopefully you get a feel for my interest at this point. I'm definitely more of a DC guy. I'm going to say that right off the bat. After reading some Marvel and some DC, you'll start to see, and you'll get a feel for some of my, I don't know, preferences. But the art's pretty good. The story was all right. I was a little, I was into it. I liked the beginning. They kind of did this thing where maybe if you're paying more attention, you would have realized. But there's this character who's like going into this cave, and he gets this artifact, and it's kind of hard to tell if it's a male or a female. But I guess if you look close enough, it's a male. But at the time, I don't know. I must not have been looking that closely. But eventually, he gets the artifact, he leaves, and then Afra shows up and just full on kills him. And I'm like, this is Star Wars, right? No, just kidding. But I'm not like a big Star Wars guy, so I don't know a lot about the Star Wars universe, but I didn't expect that to happen. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So she gets the artifact. Apparently she kind of sells artifacts, which is a really cool story idea. So she has somebody that she owes money to. She goes back to him and tries to kind of, or she doesn't go back to him. He kind of finds her and it's like, hey, you got to pay up. And she doesn't want to give this artifact over because it's, I guess worth a lot or something like that. And she could get more for it on her own. Anyways, where I kind of was like, it was seeming pretty cool, but then where I was like, was she has these murder droids, they're called, which I don't think is very canon, but it's kind of an all right concept. But tell me that a C-3PO looking droid up here is really gonna scare somebody. Like, it comes up out of like the dark in this bar or something, and like attacks him. It's like you could push one of those things over with just like a finger, you're just like boop, and it just they don't seem very stable robots. So I thought it was kind of cheesy that this droid was like, oh, I'm a murder droid and I'm scary. I don't know. I'm awful at describing things, but it felt really fake. So I still think it's a cool story. I haven't finished it all yet, so I can't really give my full analysis on it, whether I like it or not. But it seems like it has a lot of cool concepts, like her being sort of an archaeologist who's like kind of, I think, selling these things on the black market. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't gotten that far. But it seems all right. She has a Wookiee that's kind of defending her because she saved the Wookiee's life at some point, and it seems pretty cool. Besides the murder droid thing, it's a little weird, but hey, who knows? Maybe that's a Star Wars thing that I just don't get, but I don't think it is. Like I said, I'm not really a huge Star Wars person, so I wouldn't know. Up next, my final two trades before we get into the single issues. I just picked these up from Books A Million as well. Or sorry, Second and Charles as well for $5 each because they were used. Volume 1 of Batman 52, the new 52, Court of Owls. I heard this is really good, so I've just started dipping into this. I've only finished like first 15 pages or something, but it's good. As long as it keeps up with what's going on here, I do think I'm gonna enjoy this. I can't recommend it yet because I haven't read it all, but so far I like this. So new 52, Batman, Scott Snyder. I don't want to spoil things, but I probably just did. And volume 2 of the new 52, Batman. This is the City of Owls, and then I think there's one more after this that deals with the owl storyline, and it's either Death of the Family or something else with owls in the name. I don't know. I'm so confused by this. If you guys can help me out on that one, that would be much appreciated. I don't know where to go after this. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to continue reading this. That's probably what I'm going to do after this video, to be honest. Anyways, guys, moving on to the single issues. All right, so you're going to see that my single issues are kind of scattered all over the place. I'm trying to get a feel for what I'm interested in, obviously being new. So I've been using my single issues as like a way to kind of test what I like, what I don't like, and also just kind of things that I think might be interesting that I can't pick up and trade or like necessarily don't want to or something like that. So I'm going to start with Marvel because I had a lot of DC in that last thing. So yeah, Marvel up first. I don't have much again, and also you guys will probably get mad if you're huge like comic book people who have certain ways they take care of their comics. Unfortunately, I can't afford right now the card stock. So you'll see something that I'm doing that I don't think you'll like, but I know about it, and I'm gonna work on getting something to get that. But first up, I have the infamous Iron Man, because I thought it would be kind of cool. The idea of Doom being like a Iron Man was kind of interesting to me, and trying to be good. So I picked this up, and I was actually really bored. This is something that I found happens a lot for me when I read Marvel, is I get bored. There's not that much going on, or like the art isn't that great. Don't know what's going on with Marvel, but so far haven't been too into them. So Infamous Iron Man, I would pass on. I don't know if the next couple issues get better again, guys. Let me know. But Infamous Iron Man kind of bored me. I was really looking. I had high hopes for it because I thought, hey, this could be cool. This is kind of a unique idea. But unfortunately, kind of bored me a little bit. And also, I'm just going to go through these really quick because I just remember these. I feel like I showed this off before. I got this when I was a kid. Pokemon Electric Pikachu Boogaloo #2. I had like all of them, and that's the only one I still have. The Attack on Titan Anthology, which is like a Western kind of version of Attack on Titan, which is super cool. I'm definitely going to have to read this. I have not read this yet. But I'm going to have to because it's Attack on Titan. It's a manga in Western form, which is sort of like, since reading so much, I kind of want to write a comic or a manga. I've always wanted to write, and seeing something like this just kind of piques my interest because I want to be somewhere in that line between manga and Western comics. So it's definitely something to look at. And then we have the DC's Young Animal Mixtape. No idea what this is. I got all these for free, by the way, not the Pikachu Bungalow, but I got both of these for free on Free Comic Book Day, so I have no idea if they're going to be any good. I haven't read them. Free Comic Book Day was a while ago. I just grabbed them because it's like, hey, free comics, why not? But here they are. I'm going to read them eventually, but they're not priority. Although Attack on Titan, now that I found that, I'm going to be like, I'll probably read that relatively soon, sooner than later. All right, so up next, I was kind of like, okay, so Infamous Iron Man was kind of a letdown, but I'm gonna continue to try Marvel out. So I picked up. I guess I should start with this one because I think I picked this one up first. I picked up the Mighty Thor and the Unworthy Thor Generations #1. Now I had known before going in that Thor was now a chick, which is fine. What's weird is that she calls herself Thor, but she's not Thor. Like Thor, like you guys know, I'm a Viking. I love Vikings, right? I love Vikings. I love Norse mythology. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna try Thor because Thor's Norse mythology. So it was weird because Thor's a Norse god. That is who Thor is. So it's weird that somebody can just claim the mantle of Thor. But I do really like this Thor's design. I actually think she's really well designed. She's kind of attractive, I guess. So I did like that aspect. And the story's not that bad. I would say I actually kind of enjoyed it. I like seeing so it's a kind of like Thor is... it shows like young Thor before he picks up the hammer, and he's kind of trying to get worthy of picking up the hammer, and then he kind of gets people start praying to him. These Vikings start praying to him, so he goes to combat in Egypt with these Vikings, which is kind of cool. So he starts to earn some favor and become more famous. I don't know what the right word is, but it starts getting his worth up a little bit. And then the Lady Thor shows up, super powerful. Like I said, I really like her design. I think her design is dope. It reminds me of a Valkyrie. So I assume that's sort of where they were going with her. But she's super powerful and badass from the future, and they fight together to save the day. I think it's actually a pretty solid, one shot story. So I liked it. So I kind of was like, all right, cool. So Thor's all right. Wasn't great, but it was all right. Also, got Harley Quinn. It was another free comic. I haven't read that yet either. Anything free, and I'm like, I'm not gonna read that for some reason, but I will eventually. I will eventually. It's just not top priority. So there's Thor Generations. I actually, you know, I kind of liked it. I did like that. So next up, I picked up the Thor Where Walk the Frost Giants, which apparently is a little bit older. I didn't know that. Or it's not that old. It came out like 2016 or 2017 or something. But it's just kind of a one-shot story. It was pretty good. Again, like so far, Marvel, everything's been like all right, not great. The writing was kind of weird in this. Is like everything was super cheap. Like everybody was over the top, dramatically cheap. Like not dramatic, but cheesy. Like everything was a cheesy one-liner. You know what I mean? Like just everything was like, I don't know. It was just weird. But I do kind of like the idea of the story. This little kid's dad dies in combat. He's sad, but he wants to prove himself. So he sneaks into battle with Thor and saves the day in a way. So it was kind of nice. It was kind of a nice story. So I still liked it, but again, not my favorite thing I've read. But Thor is one of those things like I might pick it up some more because I do like Norse mythology, and Thor is kind of a cool character. So. But this is what I'm talking about, by the way. I know I'm not really supposed to put two comics in the same bag like this, but as of right now, I don't have more of these cardboard things, so I can't. I know, but I'll work on it. I'll get some eventually. I know about it, is at least I know about it, so you guys don't have to worry too much. So next. Liking that Thor, I picked these up actually the same day because I grabbed this one, and the guy at the desk, the counter at my local comic book store was like, you know, they just came out with Thor #1, and the regular Thor's back. It's not female Thor anymore, and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really mind either way. I thought I don't really know much about female Thor besides that she looks cool. So I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll pick it up. So I picked up Thor #1. And it's all right. It's all I can really say about Thor. It's like, it's all right. Something I like. I mean, at the beginning, he's kind of a wuss. He doesn't really have his hammer right now. Apparently, he lost his hammer. I don't know how that happened because I have not kept up with Marvel in the slightest. So he doesn't have his hammer, but like these, the dwarves, I believe, are like building hammers for him, and they start sending him to him because he gets into a fight. And he starts, you know, using them, and unfortunately, none of them really withstand the fight. So he doesn't really have his hammer, but he's still Thor. He's got, you know, electric powers and all that still. And then, oh my gosh, I'm kind of trying to remember this as I go. Okay, so this right here, this is Jane Foster, who apparently is the female Thor, or was. In this story, she no longer is. She has cancer and is dying. So I assume that's why regular Thor has taken back the mantle. I don't really know. But it was kind of, you know, it was all right. One thing, what I did like a little bit more was included in this was also a separate story, and I think this might be something they always do. But I like this a little bit more. It was a future Thor story, and future Thor is super cool looking. I really like his design. I kind of wish this was regular Thor. He's got an eye patch. He's got this long flowing gray hair, gray beard. He looks dope. All right, he looks sick. However, this story also featured the female Thor, which was a little weird, but apparently she's sort of like the new the new Eve, I guess, because she's like the mother of this new humanity. Thor created a new planet or something after Earth got destroyed. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I'm not following Marvel very much. So in the future, though, I still really liked the design of Thor. Like Thor's it's a cool character, you know. Female Thor looked cool. Old man Thor looks cool, even cooler than young Thor. Thor's a cool character. The story, I'm like hit or miss. I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful. I'll still probably pick up the second volume, or the second issue to see if I like it anymore or not. It's definitely not something where I was like, I didn't like this. I'm not gonna read more of this. definitely something that I'm interested in. I just need to know more about what's going on, I think. But it was all right. But definitely, I'll give it like a 2.5. 2.5 to 3 out of 5 right there. So moving on to the next thing, man, this is going to be a really long video, is Oblivion Song volume, or issue 1. I'm going to keep saying volume because that's just how my mind works. Issue 1 of Oblivion Song. This is by Robert Kirkman, the same guy who made The Walking Dead. And I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely not as good as The Walking Dead. The art is very interesting. It took me a very long time to adjust to the art. I was like, oh man, it's kind of too cartoony. But where it shines, the art shines in these scenes where he's in this other dimension. Essentially, it's part of America got taken over by an alien world, and it's sort of in a different dimension, I believe, where he has to teleport to. And this is where the art shines. This looks super cool. The aliens, the goo, everything looks cool in this art style. When he's outside of this world, it just doesn't have the same vibe. But this first issue was very solid. I really enjoyed this one. I would recommend issue 1. I did it again. And again, I'm sharing bags. I know, guys. All cry. Okay. Volume or issue 2. Oh my god, I need to stop. Still good. I can't remember what happens in each one of these, but this was still good. I don't think it was as strong as the first one. I think the first one was the strongest issue so far that I've read. We got volume 3. It is a very cool cover, and issue 4. Gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Of Oblivion Song. So overall, I would recommend it. It's just it kind of slowed down a little bit, but we're about to, I'm hoping, get a pretty big thing happening in the next issue. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, up next, we've got Super Sons number 6. You're probably thinking, why do you have this? You already have the trade of this. You're right. I got this. So I had the first trade, the first volume of Super Sons, and it's, after I finished it, I was like, I need something to hold me over. So I got issue 6 just to hold me over, and I wanted to own something single issue of Super Sons. So I picked this up, read it, and then I bought the trade of number 2 right away. So it was kind of a waste of money, but I really wanted to read me some Super Sons, so I picked that up. And then, of course, just the other day, I've been looking forever for this. Not forever, but I've been looking everywhere for this. It is Super Sons Dynamite and Blue Falcon, because this came out like the week or 2 before I got into comics like this, single issue, like floppy comics. And I love Super Sons, you guys know, and I heard great things about this, so I had to get it. And it was really good. It was actually really sad. I read this right after reading Flashpoint, and Flashpoint was sad, so then I read this and it was sad, and I was just so sad for the rest of the day. It was really good though. I recommend this. I was so happy when I found this, because I had looked everywhere and nobody had it anymore because it was sold out. And I finally found it in this other comic book store that's local downtown, kind of hidden away. But they had a lot of stuff. It was crazy. So that was really cool to find that, and I was so happy. And I do recommend that, because anything Super Sons is fantastic, especially written by Tomasi. If he just, oh man, Super Sons, the new Super Sons, whatever it's gonna be, I think Tomasi is still gonna be writing it, so I'm really happy about that. But up next, we got the Man of Steel, which was actually really good. I liked Man of Steel. This is what I was saying earlier. I never would have thought of myself as a person who liked Superman, because I thought he was OP. Then I read Super Sons, and John was in it, and obviously Superman would show up here and then. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give Superman a shot. I heard that a new Superman series was about to start, so Man of Steel, here it is. Issue 1, I loved it. Actually, okay, I wouldn't say loved. It's not like I love Super Sons, right? So it's more like I like this. I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it like a 4. It was definitely pretty good. And then we got number 2. Now this is a 6-issue series, I believe. So I'm almost done with it. We got 1 and 2 right there. 3 and 4. In this one, he goes to battle with the main enemy, who actually blew up. Is that spoilers? It happened a really long time ago, but Krypton got blown up by this dude right here, and he wants to kill Superman, essentially. So that's plus there's a big mystery going on with John in this, so I had to get I had to pick up this series because I heard rumors that John was gonna die, Superboy was gonna die, and I could not let that happen, and that be the reason that Super Sons was ending, because John was gonna die. So there's been a mystery kind of revolving around Superman's family in this, and so that's what's got me really interested in it, seeing what happens, praying that John doesn't die, but it looks like he's in the clear, hopefully. So that's Man of Steel. I do like that. I recommend Man of Steel. It's only 6 issues, so it's not like a huge investment or anything like that. Next up, this is sort of a bunch of earlier things I got because I'm really into D&D. I've been getting into D&D. I just started playing D&D. You can see behind me, I have a lot of D&D books. So this is, it's not D&D, but it's Pathfinder. This is Dynamite's Pathfinder Rune Scars, which I have not read this yet. But it's pretty much D&D or Pathfinder, which is another D&D like game, role-playing game, in a comic book, which is sick, because if I was to write a comic book like I was talking about before, this is sort of the thing I would want to do. I would pretty much want to write D&D as a book. So I saw this, I was super interested. I picked up a few scattered copies of these things. You'll see I don't really know where to start with these things, and I was just kind of like, I'm not sure it really matters, to be honest with you. I mostly just kind of wanted to get in the mindset of D&D before I started playing. I just played my first game a couple weeks ago, so I was trying to get into the mindset, and I just thought it'd be cool to read something like this and see how they're doing it, because I want to do something like this one day. But maybe not particularly this. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. But up next, we've got... Not that, although is that? Oh yeah, this. Okay, so this is the one I did read. Pathfinder Hollow Mountain, the first issue. This is the only one I have currently. It came with a poster, which is kind of cool, which also has a dungeon map in it, which is also pretty cool. But I think this is a variant cover, interestingly enough. I got this for $1 at a Books A Million. They had like a $1 bid, and I just scurried through it all. This is where I got, I think, all of the Pathfinders, I want to say, and a few other things I'm about to show in a second that are also sort of the same vibe. But yeah, so I read this, and it was a little bit of a disappointment, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't bad. Not something I would go out of my way to pick up more of. I'll probably read Rune Scars and see if that's any better. If not, I'll probably won't pick up any more of this unless, again, I see them for $1 somewhere, and I'll be like, sure, why not? It's definitely something, if you can get it for $1, it's fun enough to read. But if you're paying full price for this, it's not quite as interesting. So Pathfinder Hollow Mountain right there. Up next is something I found a lot of or not a lot of, but I found quite a few issues for $1. I think I even could have gotten more, but I decided not to because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It's Rose. So that's volume 1. It's good. It's not great. It's just one of those, it's kind of like a mediocre sword adventure girl with a panther. I don't know. It's not great. It's not awful though. That's volume 2. I wouldn't go out of my way to get more of it, I guess, unless they were $1. Again, if I can find it cheap, I will continue reading this, but if not, I'm not gonna spend full price on these. But this is Rose volume 3. And I did read all of these. It was good enough to keep me reading them, so that's definitely something going for it, I suppose. I got to get through these a little bit faster, I think, because I'm losing myself, and I'm sure I'm losing you guys. So over here, we got the actual Dungeons and Dragons Volume 1 of Frost Giant's Fury. I assume this came out to go with their newer campaign that they just came out with. Maybe not. I was thinking Storm King's Thunder, maybe. That might have been what I was thinking. I guess that's not that new. What am I thinking of? I don't remember, but this is Frost Giant's Fury. It was all right. I've read this one. It was just kind of the same as Pathfinder, where it was like the characters were kind of cheesy. the action, there wasn't that much action in this. They did get into a battle, but it was kind of pointless battle sort of thing. There's not like a lot of like, this is important, like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of fun, I assume, I guess. But again, you can see I got this for $1, so no harm, no foul. I also have picked up 2 and 3. This says $2, but I actually got it for 44 cents, so I don't know why it says $2 up there. And I got number 3 as well. I think this was $1 at Books A Million. So I'm gonna have to read these 2. I haven't read them yet. Hopefully it picks up from the first one, because I would love to read some Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of weird. Like, for example, in this, they tell you some of like the weird comedy kind of characters they have. One dude who is this guy in the back, he has a hamster pet familiar or something along those lines, and it is a space hamster. I don't know if that's like an inside joke or something. I don't know, but it was weird. But forgivable. Anyways, if I can pick up those for cheap again, I will do so. Keeping in theme with the past ones, this is Red Sonja. You can probably see part of the reason I picked this up. 1, she's pretty good looking, and 2, I got it for 95 cents at Second and Charles, and it was another sword, a person in armor with a sword, and again, I wanted to read some stuff like this, so picked up Red Sonja, 0, 1, and my word, and 3. They didn't have 2, so I skipped 1. Again, not a continue. I'm not gonna keep reading this. I wouldn't really suggest it either. It was kind of boring, to be honest with you. She's attractive, but that's about all I had going for it. And I also did pick up this Red Sonja 0, because I do like the character's design, obviously. Okay, you know what? I'll be honest. And I heard that this was pretty good. So this takes Red Sonja into a modern day setting, which is a lot more interesting, I think. So I picked this up. If I can find the first issue of this for cheap, I will continue this one, but not the older ones. These are a little bit older in years, I think. These were either earlier 2000s or I think early 2000s is when this came out, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll probably continue this if I can find them cheap. This was $125, so, you know, again, it's good to get some stuff cheaper like this. So if I can continue this, I will. But again, not going out of my way. So essentially, what I've found is that I really like DC Comics. Marvel's okay. And anything that has to do with swords and Dungeons and Dragons is eh. But I'm pretty easy to please, so I'll read just about anything. I'm not gonna go. I don't hate anything. I feel like it's like I can always find some merit in something. So, even the things that I don't highly recommend are still things that I would personally read if they were in front of me and I didn't have to spend a lot on them or something. So I can't complain. I at least enjoyed everything to some extent that I picked up, but DC is going strong for me. Everything DC I freaking loved. I haven't read a single DC thing yet, I think, that I didn't at least like. So yeah. So anyways, that's it for my comics. I guess I'll move on to books, but this video went way longer than I expected, so I'll try and make it quick because I haven't read most of these anyways. Let's go. All right, so again, you're going to notice something about my reading interests here that are very similar to the single issues. We have Dungeons and Dragons, Homeland, The Legend of Drizzt, by R.A. Salvatore. I've heard really good things about this series, so I wanted to pick it up and give it a shot. Unfortunately, I have not read that much of it. I'm on chapter 4. It did not hold my attention that much, but I'm definitely going to continue reading at some point. I just haven't got around to it. I found a new hobby in comic books, so unfortunately this is going to have to it's going to have to stay on the shelf for a while. But that's book 1 of The Legend of Drizzt, and I have book 2. Again, this is going to be sitting there for a while. Exile. I'm hoping the first one just has the syndrome of... So the first one is a prequel, I assume, I guess, to books that he wrote like 10 years before these or something like that. So this is kind of like setting up like what his life was like before he went on these adventures, sort of. So Homeland takes place in his homeland, which is the Underdark. And I don't know, it didn't really draw me in that well in the first couple chapters I read. I definitely have to read more to really tell. But this is book 2, and that's it for The Legend of Drizzt. I definitely want to give it another chance. I didn't not like it. I just didn't find it gripping enough to hold my attention, because with actual books, it's difficult to do. That being said, something that's done a pretty good job of that is George R.R. Martin's Clash of Kings. I've already read the first book. I'm on to the second book. I haven't finished this either because, again, comic books took my interest. I do want to read this more, though, because I was really enjoying it before I stopped to read some comic books. About halfway through, I think. But this is good, and I want to pick up the rest of these for sure. I want to read them all before the show comes back, but that's not happening at this point. But it would have been cool. That was my hope when I started reading the second one, or actually when I started reading the first one, that was my hope, like to catch up in the books, which I actually think the show's ahead of the books at this point, so it doesn't even matter, but still, it would have been cool, and I've been failing on that front. I'll have to do it at some point. I do enjoy the books a lot, though. I would recommend Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, etc., etc. The Song of Ice and Fire. Up next was another gift I got for my birthday, I believe. These are classic ghost stories. So this is that Barnes & Noble edition. I haven't even opened it yet. So again, like I said, I haven't read a lot of the books that I just got. I read a lot of ones that I got a while ago, but not these ones. So yeah, there's a good collection of stories by Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Dickens. Is there... Oh no. I was hoping they would have Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft in here, but I don't see him on there. Oh well, I guess it's not so much horror, is it? H.P. Lovecraft? I think it is. Cthulhu and stuff. Anyways, there's that. Haven't read it yet, so I couldn't tell you, but there's a lot of old stories in there, so I'm sure somebody's already knows if they're good or not. But up next, I have The Blood of Elves, The Witcher. I wanted something to read while on set of Walking Dead, because there's a lot of downtime. So I picked this up. Again, I haven't read that much of it because it just ended up being too loud to read. So I do hope to continue reading this at some point. But it's The Witcher, so it's like, how can you go wrong, right? So there's The Witcher, and our final thing. I want to read this, but I have to finish Clash of Kings first before I can read this. And not that I have to, but I've already started Clash of Kings, so I don't want to cross the streams and read this yet, but I want to read it. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. So this is the story of, I believe, of Dunk and Egg, which are Aegon. Is Aegon Targaryen. I think it's Aegon the Second. I don't really know. I'd have to look into that some more because it's been a while, but it seems like a really cool story of two traveling companions getting into some trouble doing some things. But I'm excited to read this because this is just sort of like a story I haven't seen yet. I think like I really like his work, George R.R. Martin's work, but I've seen the show, so I know a lot of what happens. I know a lot of stuff changes and it's different, but it's like I know that story for the most part. So I'm excited to read something I don't know. So that's why I want to read this, and it's super awesome looking hardcover. I love the way the book looks. It's just so cool. I like having it on the shelf. But that concludes everything. I know this was a super long video, way longer than I intended. I hope you guys did enjoy. Hopefully you found some stuff that you want to read. Any suggestions, I would love to hear, especially from you Marvel people out there. I'm sure you guys disliked the video because I said I didn't like Marvel. That's not my intention. It's not that I don't like Marvel. I just haven't found anything Marvel that I'm like, I need to read that. I stopped recording by accident. But yeah, I haven't found anything Marvel that super piqued my interest yet. So I would love to hear from you Marvel people out there and let me know what you like and what I should look out for Hopefully showing you what I did like so far will give you a good idea of what I might like Marvel wise. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was very long-winded. I'm out of breath, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Till then, stay frosty and peace.